We are standing on the edge of a precipice, Seattle. The confetti has barely been swept off the floor from the Super Bowl celebration, and now the cold, hard reality of the business side of the NFL is hitting us like a freight train. I am hearing reports today that signal a complete dismantling of the championship core. We are talking about the MVP of the Super Bowl possibly walking out the door, and a defensive legend contemplating hanging up his cleats forever. The roster churn is real, and it is terrifying. Before we break down these massive stories, I need you to help us build this channel. We are pushing for 1,000 subscribers, and we need every single member of the 12s to hit that button right now.
Let's get right into the report that is keeping every Seahawks fan awake at night. According to ESPN analytics guru Aaron Schatz, there is a very real, very dangerous possibility that Kenneth Walker III, the man who just carried this team on his back to a Super Bowl title and won the MVP award, could be leaving Seattle. The destination? The Kansas City Chiefs. You heard me correctly. The rich might be getting richer. The report indicates that Walker is a prime candidate to sign with Kansas City in free agency, creating a backfield partnership with Patrick Mahomes that sounds like something out of a video game. General Manager John Schneider has gone on record admitting that retaining Walker is going to be, quote, finance challenged, unquote. Now, let me switch gears and tell you exactly what this means. This is absolute insanity. You have a running back who defines the physical identity of your football team. Kenneth Walker III is not just a ball carrier. He is the heartbeat of this offense. He is the reason play action works. He is the reason opposing defenses stack the box. And you are telling me you are going to let the Super Bowl MVP walk out the door because of the salary cap? To the Chiefs? Are we trying to hand the rest of the league a dynasty on a silver platter? John Schneider is a brilliant mind, but if you let a talent like Walker leave in his prime right after he delivered a championship, you are sending a message to the locker room that money matters more than winning. The Chiefs do not need help. They have Mahomes. Giving them Walker is like giving a shark a laser beam attached to its head. It is unfair, it is ridiculous, and quite frankly, it is disrespectful to what Walker accomplished this season. We are talking about a guy who breaks tackles at an elite rate, who has the breakaway speed to score from anywhere on the field, and who literally just proved he is the most valuable player on the biggest stage in sports. If Seattle lets him walk, they are ripping the soul out of their offensive identity. You cannot replace that production with a committee. You cannot draft a rookie and expect him to be the Super Bowl MVP in year one. This is a critical error in judgment if they let this happen. But here's the scary part. If the offense loses its engine, what happens when the defense loses its leader? Because that's exactly what we need to talk about next.
If hearing about Walker potentially joining the Chiefs makes you want to scream, you need to be part of this community. We do not sugarcoat anything here. Subscribe now so you are the first to know if this nightmare becomes a reality.
If losing the offensive MVP wasn't enough to spike your blood pressure, look at what is happening on the defensive side of the ball. Sources from 12 Man Rising and ESPN are reporting today that DeMarcus Lawrence is seriously considering retirement. The veteran pass rusher, who was instrumental in the Super Bowl run, is reportedly evaluating the idea of going out on top. At 33 years old, having finally secured that elusive ring with the Seahawks, Lawrence is looking at his legacy and thinking this might be the perfect time to say goodbye to the game of football. Insider Brady Henderson has noted that Lawrence wants to avoid the decline that plagues so many greats who stay 1 or 2 years too long. Now, from a human perspective, I respect it. You win the chip, you drop the mic, you walk off into the sunset. It is the Ray Lewis ending. It is the Michael Strahan ending. But from a Seahawks perspective, this is a disaster. DeMarcus Lawrence is the glue of that defensive front. He is not just a pass rusher, he is the best run-stopping defensive end in the National Football League. You do not simply replace that level of IQ and grit. When things got tough in the playoffs, who was rallying the troops? Lawrence. When we needed a stop on 3rd and short, who was blowing up the edge? Lawrence. If he retires, you are losing a massive amount of leadership that does not show up on the stat sheet. We are talking about a locker room presence that holds rookies accountable and keeps veterans focused. With the potential exit of Kenneth Walker, losing Lawrence would mean losing the alpha dogs on both sides of the ball in the same offseason. That is how championship windows slam shut. You cannot have a leadership vacuum this large and expect to repeat. The front office might save some money on the cap if he retires, sure, but at what cost to the culture? You are stripping away the toughness of the team. And let's be clear, finding a defensive end who can play all 3 downs at an elite level is nearly impossible in free agency without breaking the bank. So now you have a GM sweating over the running back position, sweating over the defensive end position, and suddenly he has to deal with a young superstar receiver who is looking at all this chaos and deciding it is time to get paid right now.
And now we arrive at the third pillar of this potential off-season collapse. As if the situation with Walker and Lawrence wasn't volatile enough, we are now hearing reports that Jackson Smith-Njigba is coming to the table with massive contract demands. The Seahawks front office is officially under siege. JSN has established himself as one of the most productive and reliable targets in the league, and his camp knows it. This is the domino effect I was worried about. When you win a Super Bowl, everybody wants to get paid. But here is the reality check. The Seahawks are already crunching the numbers on Kenneth Walker. They are already trying to figure out how to replace DeMarcus Lawrence. And now you have your slot receiver, your chain mover, your playmaker, demanding top-tier money that the team simply might not have available under the salary cap. This is a ticking time bomb. Jackson Smith-Njigba is incredible, do not get me wrong. His route running is elite, his hands are glue. But can you afford to pay a receiver $25 or $30 million a year when your roster is bleeding talent elsewhere? This is the harsh reality of the NFL salary cap. It is designed to break up championship teams. The Seahawks have to make a choice. Do you pay the running back who won you the MVP? Do you pay the receiver who keeps the chains moving? You cannot do both. You simply cannot do both and field a competitive defense. This is where John Schneider earns his paycheck. He has to look JSN in the eye and potentially say, not yet, risking a holdout, risking chemistry issues, risking a distraction that could derail the entire season before it starts. If JSN decides to hold out and Walker walks to the Chiefs and Lawrence retires, the Seahawks go from Super Bowl champions to a team fighting for a wildcard spot overnight. The demands are high, the leverage is real, and the clock is ticking.
This is the most critical juncture in recent franchise history. We are looking at a triple threat that could dismantle the roster we just celebrated in the parade. Walker to the Chiefs, Lawrence retiring, JSN demanding the bank. It is a perfect storm. I need to know from you right now in the comments, if you could only save one situation, which one is it? Do you pay Walker, convince Lawrence to stay, or extend JSN? Let me know your priority. We are in this together, 12s. Stay strong, and I will see you in the next video.